The 1994 San Marino Grand Prix reminded everyone that Formula 1 is inherently a dangerous sport. The deaths of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna left everyone devastated, but no one more than the teams of Simtek and Williams. Just 2 weeks later, Formula 1 arrives at Monaco and both David Brabham and Damon Hill fight themselves, needing to rally the teams to do what Roland and Ayrton would want the most: to race. In this series, I will play as Damon Hill, with the goal of winning the championship. Looking at the fact that we are currently 23 points behind Schumacher entering the Monaco Grand Prix, it will not be the easiest task, but I need to believe in myself to even think about shot at the title. As I'm starting my first lap, I want to inform you all that I made some mistakes. For this round, I forgot to load the TAT file, aka the mod file. The drivers are correct, we don't have a second Williams and a second Simtek, so I thought it just auto-loaded. It doesn't. So for the next round, reliability will be slightly different, and maybe midfield will be looking a little bit different, but the most important thing for the series is just for Schumacher to be quick, and God, he was quick. So coming out of the final corner to finish my first qualifying lap, what is it gonna be? And it is 125.2. I don't really know if that's good or not in the wet. I guess it wasn't, because quickly I improved by over a second, and I thought that this was a great lap time. Unfortunately, Michael Schumacher did not think so, and did 123.7. I did not know if I have 5/10 in me, but you have to try. I slightly improved in Sector 1, but I had some oversteer on the exit of Mirabeau and went deep into the hairpin. So I was 4 tenths down going into the third sector and got blocked by a Simtek. Starting yet another lap, I went really aggressive into Saint-Devote and clipped the wall on the exit, but somehow I was still improving, at least until Portier. Yeah, not ideal. So it all came to the final lap, and I had nice Saint-Devote, and overall the first sector, which resulted in me improving by over 2 tenths, but I knew I had to gain more time than that and went too deep into the chicane, clipped the wall, and that was it. Worst thing about this lap, I still was pretty close to beating my personal best, so maybe if not for that mistake I would have topped the standings. Anyway, me and Schumacher were completely in a different league than other drivers. Unfortunately, he was also in a different league than me, and we have to shout out Paul Belmondo being 9 seconds off the pace. Thankfully, second qualifying session was dry, so this nullified the results of Q1, and also I felt much more confident in dry conditions. So my first lap was 1:18.8, that was good enough for second position. Michael Schumacher went 1/10 faster than me, and I was pretty shocked by that information, because while practicing for this race, he never went below 1:19s. And you could certainly see that pressure hit me, because I spun in Saint-Devote, or rather after Saint-Devote. But as we know, diamonds are made under pressure. And under that pressure I certainly seem to flourish, because I've gained 3 tenths in Sector 1. I did not gain any time in Sector 2, but that's okay. We just have to keep this till the end of the lap, and that will be enough for provisional pole position. And entering the final corner, I'm just slightly too far to get slipstream of that Pacific, I think. And in the end, it's 1:18.611, which is good enough for first position in this qualifying session. But I was really scared of Michael Schumacher pulling another great lap out of his ass. And even though that exit of Saint-Devote wasn't optimal, and I've lost 2 tenths in Sector 1, I've gained 3 tenths in Sector 2. So once again, it was looking pretty promising. And when I crossed the line, it was 1:18.320, which simply wasn't enough for me. So by not almost spinning out on the exit of Saint-Devote, I've gained another 10th and a half. But when it was looking really good for me, I got blocked by Lotus going into Sector 3. And those are the final results of second qualifying session. This time I'm in the league of my own, not Schumacher. It seems like he has better wet pace, but I'm much faster in dry conditions. And this time Paul Belmondo only 8 seconds of the pace. And this is the starting grid for 1994 Monaco Grand Prix. Damon Hill starts from pole position, Michael Schumacher is right behind him, Jean Alesi in 3rd, Mika Hakkinen in 4th, Gerhard Berger in 5th, Rubens Barrichello in 6th, 7th is Yukio Katayama, 8th Frentzen, 9th JJ Leto, 10th Martin Brundle, 11th Fittipaldi, 12th Martini, 13th Olivier Panis, 14th Comas, 15th Blundell, 16th De Cesaris, 17th Morbidelli, 18th Lamy, 19th Beretta, 20th Wendlinger, 21st Herbert, 22nd Alboreto, 23rd Brabham, 24th Bernard, 25th Gashot, and Paul Belmondo starts from 26th. Damon Hill is my favorite driver, so winning this championship would mean very much to me. And now red light is on, and it's go, 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 and Damon Hill had his typical start, and Michael Schumacher goes to first. Thankfully, I've blocked two Ferraris which started right behind me. They looked pretty hungry for overtaking me, but they couldn't find a way past my Williams. So this race started off completely wrong. Now I have to overtake Michael Schumacher around the track where you basically cannot overtake. But there is some hope because we have 26 cars on track. So surely lapped cars will come into play, and Michael Schumacher sets off the fastest lap of the race so far. And after the first lap you can already see that this will be just a two-man show. Jean Alesi behind me is already 2 seconds off the road, so as Eric Comas pits, so there had to be some argy-bargy happening in the midfield. Another lap, another fastest lap by Michael Schumacher. Right now his pace is much better than mine, and this is starting to get pretty worrying because I was pretty confident in my pace, and right now I don't have it. This is shattering my confidence pretty fast. And confidence is a thing you have to have around Monaco, otherwise you're gonna crash into the wall. Just to give you some image of how much quicker me and Schumacher are than Jean Alesi and the rest of the field, we are already 4 seconds ahead of Jean Alesi after 4 laps. We are extending a gap to him by a second per lap. And lap 4 marks the first retirement of this race. Marc Blandel is out with transmission problems. It also marks probably the first instance of me actually being quicker than Schumacher. Just look how much I'm gaining in sector 3. This is the part where my car is really fast. I would argue that Schumacher is better on the first part of the circuit and I'm better on the second half of it. And this is confirmed by me setting the fastest lap of the race. It's starting to look like Michael Schumacher has run out of pace. He tried to extend the gap after his good start. My guess is he destroys his tires. Just see how much I gain going into the chicane. I'm so much more confident than him. Actually, now looking back at it, it's interesting how quick his car is off the line, but I don't want to point fingers at Benetton. And you can see that Michael Schumacher is acknowledging my existence. He's going defensive into Raskas, so he's scared of me. He knows that I am right behind him and I want to overtake him. And just look how much faster I am through sector 3. I'm gaining so much time on every corner, and now there is a gap on the inside, but if you go for it, you're gonna die. Let's be honest, there's no space for 2 cars there. Realistically, you can only fit 1 car in sector 3. But this is actually a good reason to show yourself in the mirrors of car in front. You know, maybe under pressure he will make some mistake, but it's Michael Schumacher, so it's pretty unlikely. And going into Massane, Schumacher goes really slow. I almost rear-ended him. Well, that was stressful. This is not the type of mistake I hoped Michael Schumacher would do. And now I had a brilliant exit of the chicane, and I tried to make it too wide, but I just didn't get to him fast enough. If I was side by side, maybe, but I wasn't. Now I'm again in his slipstream going into Massane, and there's just no space really to go for it. It's only lap 10, there's no point in risking it. Also, there is a lapped car right in front of us. It's a Pacific of probably Paul Belmondo, looking at his qualifying lap times. And Paul Belmondo blocks Michael Schumacher in port here. Thank you, Paul Belmondo, this was such a brilliant maneuver from you. And I'm closing in on him, going into the chicane, and I go for it, and I take the lead of the race. What a move by Damon Hill that was. But after staring at Michael Schumacher for 10 laps, I've kind of forgot how to drive in clean air. I was so focused on him, I have to relearn the circuit. Which isn't easy when Michael Schumacher is in your mirrors. This Benetton looks mighty quick in the slow sections of the track. But after around 2 laps, I finally found my groove again. And I started slowly building a gap over Schumacher, which so far was 3.2 seconds. But worst thing about Monaco while you're leading a race, that entire gap can just disappear as soon as you reach the traffic. I caught those 3 cars in a place where I cannot really overtake them, so now I have to go with pace of whoever leads this pack, and it seems like that is a Pacific. So now I try to go around La Ruse, I think that is. Thankfully they let me pass on the exit of Raskas, and I was too slow to attack them into Mirabeau, but he let me by on the exit. And yes, that was a Pacific leading this group, so probably Gashot is having a really good race so far. And now going into the chicane, my rear just gets unsettled and I almost crash into the wall. Probably I touched it slightly, but there's thankfully no damage to the car. And through Raskas, my rear just gets unstable once again. I think those 10 laps behind Michael Schumacher in his dirty year just completely destroyed my tires. And even though I'm leading the race, the dirty year doesn't stop. I'm once again in a stupid traffic jam led by I don't know who. There's no chance at overtaking anyone into Mirabeau because they formed a train so long. If I overtake Lotus, I'm gonna crash into someone else. So now I just have to accept my fate and stare at Michael Schumacher being once again right in my mirrors. This is why I don't have as much downforce as you'd expect me to have, because I know how important it is to dispatch of traffic, and by far the easiest and risk-free method of doing that is just to have a lot of speed on the straights. I'm sorry, this is just how it is. But even with that, it's still a pretty painful task. Now a Sauber goes deep and he lets me by, thank you. Now I've caught up to another Lotus. I go on the, oh my god, what is he doing? He closed the door on me. I know he tried to let me by, but please don't do it like that. And Morbidelli is the first driver to pit in this race. For his proper pit stop, we are not counting Comas, who had to box for repairs. I'm about to lap a Jordan and he just closed the door on me. Yeah, thank you. That was so helpful of you. At lap 26, I'm going for my first pit stop of this race. I didn't have the fastest pit stop. Some would argue that because it was my first Grand Prix 2 race, I did not know all the controls, but that's just fake news. And on this really important outlap, I see yellow flags in sector 3, and this might make me lose position to Michael Schumacher. And it's Gianni Morbidelli who is out somewhere here. And yeah, you can see his car being lifted up. But it's better to slow down than best case scenario plow into the back of a car and lose your front wing. Worst case scenario, lose a tire and just be out of the race. And Schumacher is 23 seconds ahead of us. I have no idea how long you spend in pit stop around Monaco. So all I want to do is gain as much time as I can. And I'm gaining by around 1.5 seconds. The words can describe how much better fresh tires feel around this track. And now one of the Jordans is out, basically on track. That's Andrea De Cesaris. And this is just why I slowed down so much for those yellow flags. You just never know where the car is stopped. And after 6 laps, I'm 14.5 seconds behind Michael Schumacher. Unfortunately, I'm once again in the traffic. But this is a key moment of the race, so I just go for it. I was pretty scared of making moves into Mirabeau. Not now. And another one into port here. I'm overtaking in places where I never think I would. Remember when I called overtaking Sector 3 a death sentence? Well, I just did that, but it's because Michael Schumacher is in the pits right now. I think I'm gonna get him quite comfortably, but you never know. And I don't see anyone coming out of the pit lane, so I think we are in pretty comfortable lead. Well, that is until we reach another traffic jam. And now we see how much time exactly Schumacher is behind me. It's over 7 seconds, so it's pretty comfortable for now. I can save tires. Irritatingly, that footwork is really quick. I cannot lap it. It's faster than me. I don't know if he just boxed much later and he's on fresh rubber or what, but I cannot get close to him. I'm just stuck, constantly staring at his blue rear wing, but thankfully he let me go. If he did not do that, I would be stuck like that for another couple of laps. And this costed me over 3 seconds to Michael Schumacher. And entering Grascas, cars in front of me brake suddenly and I locked up my brakes. Thankfully I did not rear-end that McLaren. And when we enter Mirabeau, I'm blocked by a car in front and Michael Schumacher goes for it. We go side by side on the exit of Mirabeau. We are trading the lead. I have the inside line for the hairpin and I defend my position. I left absolutely bare minimum space for Michael Schumacher. And this is a wake-up call. I have to be more aggressive with the traffic. And that's what I've done. into second gear, a gear that I never used in that corner, just to overtake that McLaren. And I'm starting to suspect that Benetton has paid off Jordan, because what was that? Every time I lap them, they do something absolutely stupid. But thankfully, after overtaking that car, I have clean air again. Probably not for long, but we have to enjoy those laps. Ever since that dive bomb, when I come to Mirabeau and see Michael Schumacher in my rear mirror, I am absolutely terrified. I know he will go for it if he smells he has a chance. Now lapping a Ligier. Oh my god! That's another car that just moves over when I'm about to pass them. If that resulted in me losing my front wing or DNFing from this race, I would have cried. And interestingly enough, Michael Schumacher is in the pit. He is trying to undercut me. He went longer on the first stint than me, but now he is going shorter. I think he saw that undercuts are the way to go. And 2 laps later, I respond with my pit stop. Who will come out on top? I think I've done. You can see on my dashboard that I am in first position, so we've done it. We've successfully defended against undercut that Benetton was trying to pull off. And even though my goal was to chill and look after my tires, I was going for some pretty aggressive moves. And this is a Benetton of JJ Leto. I'm gonna be pretty careful with this car. You just don't know what Schumacher's teammates will try to pull off to help him with getting closer to me again. Thankfully, the Finnish driver was pretty chill. And another retirement from this race, Martin Brundle with transmission problem. It seems like the gearboxes are really fragile around Monaco. I also got absolutely brake checked by David Brabham, so not thank you for this one. My comfortable gap to Michael Schumacher pretty much vanished. He was only 1 second behind me again. During those 10 laps, I've looked after my tires as much as I could, so we have something that will allow us to defend against him. Although with traffic behaving like that, everything can happen, because why is Pacific defending against me? He's actually changing his line multiple times just to block me from lapping him. I don't know what he's doing. Absolutely terrible behavior from his part. His teammate tried to make it easy for me, but I did not want to go on the outside on Raskas, and I've waited until the final corner to overtake him. To be fair, I think this was a little bit too aggressive from my part. I was so far away from that LaRousse. It's 9 laps to go and I'm sandwiched between a Tyrrell and Benetton. Katayama lets me pass him, but at the exit our wheels collide and I lost all of my momentum. Thankfully I blocked Schumacher. Oh, that was a close one. If I lost my lead with less than 10 laps remaining, that would be absolutely painful. 2 laps till the end of the race. Michael is once again right behind me entering the Mirabeau, but the time is running out for him. And starting the final lap, I once again go to third, entering the Saint Devote. 3 sectors are between me and winning the Monaco Grand Prix. And currently, I will gain 4 points on Michael Schumacher in the standings. Still a long way to go. I'll be on 17 and he'll be on 36 points if we finish like that. But what counts the most is I'm gonna stop Michael Schumacher's winning spree. He won first 3 races in a row. And entering Raskas after 78 laps. I see a couple of cars right in front of me, but I cannot be bothered to overtake them. Entering the final corner, final straight, and it is Damon Hill who wins the Monaco Grand Prix of 1994. Damon has done it just like his father. Is this the start of a comeback from the Williams team? We'll see. But right now it's once again Williams who's on top in Formula 1. Of course, this is a bittersweet victory after what has happened in the last race. This was probably the most stressful race I've had in any video game. And the fact that I did it while temperature in my room was probably over 30 degrees wasn't the greatest idea, to be fair. Now let's take a look at the driver standings. Michael Schumacher is on 36 points and I'm on 17. And in this series, this is the only thing that counts. We are also behind a Ferrari, but in Monaco we had only 1 car, so this will probably change. Anyway, thank you for watching and goodbye. Have a nice day.